Don in London, hello. It's April the 13th, 2013. My video's all about recovery from alcoholism or addiction to substances and behaviour. And I had an interesting discussion about different fellowships which offer help to people trying to get sober one day at a time. And there are very obvious ones like NA, Narcotics Anonymous, and then there are many, many more for different types of behaviour that people can get addicted to. Anyway, I'm Don, I'm an alcoholic, and I can only do one fellowship at a time, but that's just me. But other people find benefit in doing many different fellowships for many different reasons. So if you have a particular addiction to a substance or behaviour, there are many ways to get help. And I started with professional help, and then the professionals said, we can't keep on giving you support. You need support from somewhere else. And they suggested I go to Alcoholics Anonymous. So, yes, I went to AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and I stuck with it. Why? Well, the horror of the life before, the rock bottom of never being able to stop drinking and still promising myself I could stop using my willpower, it didn't work for me. And the professional said, you're hitting your head against a brick wall if you feel you can do this on your own. And I said, what do you mean feel? He said, well, it's an emotional thing and it's a spiritual thing. I said, what, you mean feelings in the moment of now? I said, that's spiritual, isn't it? And they said, yes. And this is professional people who said, no matter what your religion is or whatever, you'll find there's some quirky people who have found a way to stay sober one day at a time, and they will help you learn how. So AA, I never speak for it, I talk a lot about it, and I share about how the 12 steps help me. That's 12 steps of action, 12 principles of living, which help me on a daily basis find a way to find out who I am today, let alone anybody else, and make better decisions sober. So the fellowship of AA is people like me, well, no, people like you. If you're in AA, you know I can't speak for you, and I don't want to, because you speak for yourself where you choose, and that's absolutely right. I share here because people can't get to meetings, and I was asked to. So a sort of stopgap measure of experience, strength and hope sharing about what's going on and how these 12 steps work for me. So I do one a month. January was all about step 1. I am powerless over alcohol. If I take a drink, life gets unmanageable. Step 2 in February was all about being restored to sanity by a higher power. And my higher power is truth, love and wisdom in the moment of now. Learning the truth, learning how to love, and learning the wisdom of now. Truth, love and wisdom. Not mine. I only know my truth, love and wisdom. I need universal truth, love and wisdom which comes from everyone. So if there is a God, God works through people, I am told. So we have to find the right people who know about what it is we're trying to work out. And equally, we'll find people who are not so good, and they don't speak. Well, they do actually. Anything that people speak is useful. Either it's useful to us, or it's useful to them. And then we make a decision about those parts which other people share, which is not so useful. That's just life, because everybody has an opinion. And that's the good news. So I'm going to share and step 3, let go and let something new happen. Let go self-will and find freedom of choice based on more information. Let go and ask for help. And then step 4 is the fearless moral inventory, which I'm talking about in April. But I'm going to share the AA preamble just to remind myself. I don't speak for you, and these are the reasons why. I don't speak for anyone but me. I share about how AA helps me. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. So we all share our experience, strength and hope in meetings and groups, so we can help each other. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. And I went to AA when I thought it was this great big thing, AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and it turned out to be just a group of people. I thought, well, hang on a minute, where's the hierarchy? Where are the leaders? And there aren't any. And there are no spokesmen either. So I don't speak for AA, I speak about it. So the only requirement is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions, but we never have issues of money because we don't rake in loads of money. We only want to cover costs, like rent for a room, tea, coffee, biscuits, and some literature, and admin further up the line for making these little cards, which are very useful. And it goes on to say this: AA is not allied with any sect, but you can be in your own sect. It's not allied to any denomination, but you can be in your own denomination. It's not allied to any politics or political organisations, but you can be. It's not allied with any organisation, any other organisation or institution, but you can be. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, you can. Neither endorses nor opposes any causes, you can. Our primary purpose within fellowship, because if you're in, you're in, and desire to stop drinking, our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So what that means is, you will find people talking about their affiliations, whether it's a sect, a denomination, political organisation, the local parent-teacher association, or whatever it might be, local golf club. Not such a good place if you go to the 19th hole, is it? I don't know. 18th hole is 19th hole is the bar. So we're all in there with our own opinions, and that's the reason why it works, because we share experience, strength and hope of reality today. So sometimes meetings are good, bad or ugly. You never know till you get there. But if it's good, you feel joyful. If it's bad, you feel sad. And if it's ugly, you think, oh, why did I bother? And the answer is because you get something from the bad and ugly as well as the good. That's life. But people aren't drinking, and they can laugh at themselves often, and they find out that truth now is quite different to the truth we had when we were drinking, and life is different. And we all found out it doesn't happen overnight. Most of us did. We found it didn't happen overnight. We had to do some work, and how you do that is your own way. But you'll find there are people who will give you their opinion, like me, but we're not there to do anything but suggest. And if anybody tries to instruct you, even me, if I say something which is instructive, take no notice. It's about living life, and that's what we do. We share, and that's what I'm going to do now. My thoughts. And step 4 is about the fearless moral inventory, so we can work out what drove us bonkers in the past and what's going to keep us in a place of moderate sanity today. So, in the moment of now, I've written my notes, because if I don't, I'll keep on wandering. In the moment of now, today, awareness of your emotions and considering how they might influence your decision making in any given moment is important in your approach to life. So awareness of how you are feeling. So how am I feeling? Why? And what to do? Means we can be assertive in expressing how we feel. Awareness of your emotions will have an impact on your decision making in any given situation. And I keep on saying this because we can get it backwards. We think first. Actually, our emotional stuff is hardwired and going on all the time. So when I was speaking to you then, I could hear a car going past in the background, which was irritating me. I didn't shut the far window because I like it open. So, something's going on in the background. How am I feeling? Why? And what to do? It means we can be assertive in expressing how we feel. More importantly, if we're not alone, if we say, how are we feeling? Which offers the opportunity to be assertive with each other and have empathy, or at least try to develop empathy in any situation in life. So, for example, I'm trying to think of something which would irritate. I haven't got any irritants at the moment, really. I'm sure something will happen to give me an example. Anyway, what about fear and anxiety? Often we are fearful. That's a traffic warden going past on his moped. And it's making me smile. Often we are fearful and there is a good reason. These are important triggers. Often we are fearful and there is a reason. Something is happening now which triggers our emotions, and it's obvious. What is less obvious can be a profound recollection of traffic warden going past. If I had a car which was parked illegally after 8 o'clock in the morning here, I'd get a £150 fine. So that would cause fear, because if it happened too often, I'd be bankrupt. So I have profound recollections of parking tickets in the past when it didn't matter because I just had plenty of dough, but I don't these days. And I don't have a car because I don't need one. Often we might find ourselves caught in a lie. So we find ourselves saying we've done something. Have you ever done that? Oh yes, I've done that. And then you suddenly realize, oh well, hang on a minute, have I done that? And we get caught in a lie when we're trying to be agreeable and find common ground, and then suddenly we feel caught. That sensation when the lie is discovered, when you feel the pit of your stomach going down, anger at ourselves and resentment, followed by cover-up in some way. Why did I do that? And it's about trying to be agreeable, trying to fit in, putting ourselves... It's often better to say, no, I've never done that. What, at your age, you've never done that? No. I don't know what it would be, but anyway. There's lots of things I haven't done. I haven't parachuted out of an airplane, and that's not going to happen any time soon. So if somebody said, I've been paragliding or parachuting, have you ever done that? No, but I've thought about it. So why lie? You don't have to lie to fit in. You don't have to big yourself up in any way, but fear, pride and ego will make us do these things sometimes. So we feel equal, or better than another person. Step 4 highlights the fear, pride and ego, which used to protect ourselves in the past. And at the same time it highlights what we can do in the future. We can be truthful and have the courage to change. We don't have to have done something to be level. We've done something else. We've been working hard, or, I don't know, enjoying the bar. Some of us need to develop courage, faith and confidence to start from scratch every day. Because I do this, I say to myself, I have no expectations or entitlements today other than the same as anybody else. And even then, I'm going to watch it, because expectations can be resentments under construction. And I can get angry, just like anybody else, if I'm pushed about. So, have the courage to change. Some of us need to do this every day from scratch, and say to people that we really don't know the answers. We don't have the experience that they are sharing, and thank goodness we have a fellowship where it's okay not to know anything and start over at any time. It's tough to be sober, to be open, honest and willing to change. It really is. And it doesn't just happen overnight. We don't change from being one way to another. We're in a place of fear and anxiety. There's the old path, which we know, and then there's the new path in another direction. And we can get stuck in the middle, trying to go one way because it's where we've been and we know the fix. Then the new way, open, honest, willing, courage to change, faith, confidence. What the hell is that all about? So it's going to take some time. It's not an easy thing to do. And what we learn is we're doing it all the time anyway, because we need to change. So we can start over at any time. I can remember discussing my situation with a professor of psychiatry, and I've worked for this person dealing with I worked with him dealing with people who did so-called big jobs, and they were big jobs, big careers. And I consulted him after doing some work for him, which was, I liked it a lot, about writing my CV after I had a nervous breakdown. So he was sort of I was helping him and he was helping me. And the question of my CV with other people, his suggestion was to lie through my teeth and not tell anyone what happened to me, because he saw I still had potential to go back to the old life, which had burnt me out. He thought I could be repaired. I did try with some success, but the outcome was I used alcohol again. I didn't know I was doing it at the time, because you don't. You just think, Christ, that was a bad one to deal with. How do I get that person out of my head? I might have helped them, but now I'm stuck with all that stuff going around in my own mind. So I used alcohol as a barrier between me and what I used to do. Alcohol kept me going doing the same old, to the point where I could not stop drinking. And that took some years. It was a disaster to lie about the nervous breakdown, because it kept me in denial. Lying through your teeth on your CV is denial. Kept me fearful about being found out, which was true. Because if you say, oh, that blank bit, I was doing consultancy for Professor X at whatever it was, it's a lie, and I was living it. It was a disaster to lie about the nervous breakdown, because it kept me in denial, kept me fearful about being found out, and my eggshell ego cracked in no time at all, and then a 5-year struggle into another rock bottom and complete mental breakdown again, and homeless and horrible and still in denial. It was the world who had done it to me. It had nothing to do with me where I was, but it did have a lot to do with me, and that I was ill mentally. Fear, pride and ego often keep us doing things which will inevitably cause major problems down the line. In the UK, people might have called it the Dunkirk spirit, stiff upper lip, and there are all sorts of songs about, marching along to Timbuktu or wherever. The point about the Dunkirk spirit was a true fight for life in the firing line, and for freedom and democracy. And if anyone who has been a soldier and has had prolonged periods of war experience, I don't underestimate in any shape or form what they're coping with. PTSD and emotional upset. When you're trying to get back to humanity again, I have the greatest respect for anyone. I don't care why or how people joined up, or for what reason, because it's just how it is. And then people under fire and then long periods of on your mettle all the time. I just don't underestimate anything. I have the greatest respect for people coping. Just wanted to say that, because it was a true fight for life in any war condition, even now. And about freedom and democracy. Applying the same principle to things we do which are bad for us, you can't apply it in the same way. But people do. It's let's get down in the trenches and get this done by X, because we have a deadline. We've got to do something by this or that or the other, or we miss the opportunity. Applying the same principle to things we do which are bad for us, whether it is material gain or romantic extremes, is madness and insanity. We're not under war conditions at home, but it certainly felt like it in some of the work I did. Very often some of us were encouraged to do things we were good at, and although we were good at doing these things and we thought it was a good idea because of the success and the opportunity offered, it was entirely the wrong thing for us to be doing, and entirely wrong and against our own interests. Work hard, play hard was the ethic back in the day. I did work hard and play hard because I thought playing hard was the reward for doing the work I was good at, and ended up burning out as a result. Fear, pride and ego. I didn't even know what was driving me. I thought it was ambition. Actually, in truth, it was fear of failure. Some of the things we learn in the safe self-appraisal, the fearless moral inventory, can be very upsetting because we understand suddenly that we have been driven to do things because we thought we ought to do them. We thought we should be successful, and we found things we were good at, and we found things other people appreciated. We became chameleons. We could blend in. We could be the life and soul of the party and the loneliest person on the planet. One of the worst and most horrible experiences which happened over and over again was waking up with someone we hardly knew, yearning for love, and yet the cold touch of dawn could be the loneliest moment in the company of a stranger. And sometimes the stranger was me, lost without any idea of my identity. And I was made breakfast, flower in a vase. Oh, but I didn't know who I was, let alone what. Trying to blend in, be appreciated. I thought that was the way, rather than just be me. But then I didn't know who I was either by that stage. How am I today? Well, it's just so different. I know who I am today. I'm Don. I'm an alcoholic in recovery, and I've got loads of other interests. My main interest is photography, but I bought a telephone 2 months ago, and it's a Windows phone actually, a mobile phone, and today, 2 months later, I discovered I can speak into the phone rather than write texts. It's got a speech thing. So I can actually talk and make a text. So what do? I'm really pleased because the touchscreen letters are too, well, they are small, and my fingertips seem too big. The problem is, when I find something I like, for example, being able to speak into my telephone and write a text, so I don't have to go dot, 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 whatever. I can just speak into it and the sentences come out. I get excited. I might send out lots of texts which are completely meaningless, just because I can, and it's new. So 2 months later, I mean, we get these gadgets, and I really only wanted a phone, but I haven't had a new phone for 4 years. I thought it's about time I got a more modern one. And there's been problems with that too, but the point is, I've only used it as a telephone, and I haven't really worked out. I kept thinking, these letters are so small and my fingers are they're no bigger than anybody else's fingertips. And then it kept on having this wavy line about speaking. So I looked on the internet, and there it was. Speak into your telephone to write your texts. I mean, I do the same when I'm writing these things. I put my headphones with a microphone. It's easier to speak and easier to relate it. So, the problem is when I find something I like, for example, being able to speak into my telephone and write a text, I get excited and might send out lots of texts which are completely meaningless just because I can and it's new. I'm laughing at myself. Having sent a really long text to somebody, they simply replied with an X. And I don't think they know about voice to text on their mobile. Put a question mark there, because I think they do, but they haven't got around to using it, and they've had theirs for 2 years. So this is, maybe because I'm old, and I haven't looked at it properly, but I will now. It's a very useful tool. I mean, you can put all your details on it, so that when somebody steals it, they can get what little money you've got in your bank. If you're not careful. Anyway, I'll put my PIN number on that, a different one. And I haven't put my bank details on it either, just so you know, because I hadn't found out how to. And I've been up all night. Yes, this is why I'm a bit jittery this morning. Blood sugars all over the place. I ate some interesting food of a Spanish origin, which I truly loved. Anyway, I couldn't work out how to get my blood sugars right. I just had to do it very carefully with insulin, because I'm type 1, injecting insulin, type 1 diabetic dependent. So blood sugars all over the place has had a really bad impact on the old body. In other words, I've had to sit on the loo quite a lot. And I'm still waiting for my shower to be fixed, which means I've got quite a lot of problems in that department, because I have to be clean. Too much information, but it's true information, so that's why I'm sharing it. Why am I not angry? Simple repairs were on schedule and somebody was sick, and I only found out having waited all day, which was why I was inventing things to eat of a particular origin. So I have something to do with that as well. And I just haven't got the energy to berate and belittle the repair people in some way, because there's no point, and I don't want to anyway. I just haven't got the energy, and it would not be right to be angry and resentful, trying to impose and assert my right to have things fixed right now. The whole world seems to be in need of repair. So an electrician came and turned everything off, so even the shower thing doesn't work now, which means it's been cold comfort at the moment. Yeah. So it wouldn't be right to try and impose and get in there first, even though I've got real problems around this. I am powerless over people, places and things, and if I imagine I can jump the queue for my repair to be done, I will get nowhere and simply feel angry and resentful all day long. So there's no point, because it will get fixed, and it might be difficult. It is bloody difficult. Anyway, it's just the way it is. The sky is blue right now. Well, it was when I wrote this. It's now gone grey. I feel good having learned something this morning about voice texting, so bugger the repairs, and I hope the guy gets well enough to get back on schedule sometime soon. I feel good, I feel happy, and learning something new. How to turn your pages. It's just great. It is, I feel good. So, courage, faith and confidence that things will come right in the end. Eventually, and maybe not today. Indeed, certainly not today. And I'm still laughing about it. Because in the old day, what I would get Pimlico plumbers in, it would cost 600 quid to put right, and it'd be done in 4 hours. And then they would give me a video of all the tubes being cleaned out, the electrics being put right. And at the moment, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 visits, 6 different repairmen for various lengths of time coming here and not being able to fix something which would take 2 or 3 hours for a professional group of people to do. So 6 repairmen, well, that's quite a lot. It's probably cost more for my landlord the number of times they're coming, and that's not even taking account of the expensive pump they're going to have to put in. So that makes it at least £1,000. So it's more expensive than Pimlico plumbers. I think I'll tell my counsellor about it at some stage if I really feel inclined. But you know, what's the point? I cannot change the world, and I want to get on with my life, and unfortunately, being cloudy, it will rain. I want to go and see if the magnolia trees have come out, so I can photograph them, and see if I can get hold of the parakeets which are living close by. They were eating the nuts put out for other birdies, but the squawking birdies, these great big green parakeets, were chasing off even the squirrels last time I looked. But they were very hungry. So that's me this morning. What keeps me in check? Can do, can't do. Can do. Well, the way the Serenity is, it's it's this: God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Well, I can't change. I'm not powerful over people, places and things. I'm not a major mover or shaker. My influence is only as good as who I am today. So there's lots of things I cannot change. Courage to change the thing I can, which is me, my attitude, my behaviour. Be truthful, open, honest and willing. Those are the things I can do. Be truthful, open, honest and willing. Courage, faith and confidence. Those are the positives. Those were my shortcomings at the end of my drinking. That's step 7. So step 6, cannot change a lot of things in this world. And if I go chasing that way, I'll end up being negative. And the negative is pride, ego, fear, anxiety, depression, anger, resentment. Those are all the defects, the vices as well. So we can go to extremes in order to try and fix something, and the thing we're trying to fix always is the emotions. The thinking is trying to fix the emotions, and it doesn't work that way. So when people say acceptance is about we will not be judged on what our intentions are, we'll be judged on our actions. If our actions are truthful, open, honest and willing, we make progress. We won't necessarily get the result we want, but what we say, if it's truth, it may be taken account of by someone somewhere who can utilise it. I don't want to go that way right now, because I need something done. I could go negative, but I don't want to. And the people who will get hurt most are those who are at the front end. And the people with the organisational power tend to blame the tools. They're not tools in terms of dicks and whatever. They are proper people trying to do a proper job, but the people up the top are telling them to do it a certain way, and that's not good. I don't want to go work for them. I want to get on with my photography, my interests. I want to live my life, and I accept there will be temporary problems which I cannot fix. Enough. So the Serenity prayer, which to me, my higher power is the universal truth, the universal love and the universal wisdom which we can access through people. And sometimes it's good, bad and ugly, so we work it out. We still have to put the effort in, the action in. And that's Serenity prayer, which is about can do and cannot do. This is how it goes. So to God, or your higher power, of your understanding, and I'm very happy that we have our own understandings. You don't have to fit in with anybody else's. Utilise your higher power, whatever it may be. So to God, or truth, love and wisdom, the universal, what's out there, which we can access on a day-by-day basis. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and move along. Courage to change the things I can, mostly about me, my attitudes and actions, and the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom to know the difference, moment to moment, minute to minute, hour to hour. And when somebody says, have you ever done this? And I say, yes, but no. I still can be encouraged by my pride and ego and wanting to fit in, to say, yes, of course I've done that. But I actually get more out of saying, no, I haven't done that. Tell me about it. And I'm not being smug about it, I'm just saying, that's life. Sometimes we think we should have done something just because we want to fit in. And the answer is we'll fit in better if the other person has done something we haven't done and we learn from it. And I get a kick out of that, because encouraging people to speak about their truth encourages friendship and fellowship all over, rather than competitiveness, which is needed in some places apparently. But even Stanford University, according to the news today, said we encourage people to make mistakes because that's where they learn. And not to cover up, but to learn and grow. After all, that's education, 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 as one Prime Minister who's still alive said. And regarding the other one, who's, you've got to be careful with people and be respectful, even though you don't agree with what they did. Be respectful of the person, but not what they're doing right now. I am very respectful of a person of conviction, even if it was wrong for me. Wrong for me. And yet, that culture broke me in the end. It was the disposable culture, which still exists today. I'm wandering off the point, and I'm stopping. Free of alcohol, sober, open, honest and willing, trying to be truthful, trying to make the best of, and accepting of what cannot be done in my time.